what I think is the best thing to do is like, you got to be active with your kids. You got to show them you being active and working out. And maybe it's not always just play. Maybe it is like, they need to see you doing some push-ups and some squats.
Welcome to the Movement Driven Podcast with Dr. Greg Goldberger, where we help you bridge the gap between pain and performance. Each week, we'll share strategies, insights, and real-life applications to help you keep moving and stay driven. Now, let's get into this week's episode of the Movement Driven Podcast. Welcome back to the Movement Driven Podcast. I'm Dara Sweat, your host, and I'm here with Dr. Greg Goldberger, the owner of Movement Driven. Greg, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Dara?
I'm doing good. Excited to talk about this next topic, although I am not a parent myself. But, you know, with a wedding on the horizon, it's definitely been part of the conversation soon. So this will be something good to think about going into that. But for also, you know, the moms and dads out there that are, you know, working parents and dealing with pain, but want to be able to spend time with their kids. You know, so I've definitely heard, you know, that parenting can be a workout and it is a job in itself. So
the toughest.
Yeah. So before we get into the questions and the nitty gritty of that, obviously you have your 3 kids and your wife. So what are some things just like on the day to day that you guys do just in general, like just kind of as a relatable parent here before we get into like the topic of parenting and pain and going through the PT perspective of it, but things that you guys have run into as becoming parents that like maybe you didn't think were really going to be something you had to like focus on, obviously picking up your kids and things like that. But, you know, just kind of giving that perspective of like, how does dad deal with, you know, being dad and being strong and, you know, being able to like pick up their kids and just the things that come with being a dad. Would you touch on that?
Yeah. The dad bod, Dave Strong. That's not wanted, and it's up. But it kind of goes on with the conversation we're talking about. Like, I think the first thing that came to mind, like, we can go into the postures and the picking up, and like that's something my wife's dealt with in the past for sure. And we still have little ones, by the way, for anybody listening. Like, I have a 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and 1-year-old. So ours are little. So I'm in it. I'm moving and grooving, and like we don't have the time and that kind of thing. So this is, I think, my experience kind of is geared towards, it's going to lend itself towards that conversation. But the thing that I thought of most was like your time. Like, when do you work out? At least this is my experience. The easiest thing to do is you wake up earlier than they're already waking up at 7, and you've got to get your workout in or it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely when they're littles, like when they're really little, like you have to do it around their sleep schedule. Like you have to be strategic about it. But now that mine are getting a little older, what I think is the best thing to do is like, you got to be active with your kids. You got to show them you being active and working out. And maybe it's not always just play. Maybe it is like, they need to see you doing some push-ups and some squats and doing some things. And I think that's a bigger conversation for another episode of where societally, where we're heading and the obesity epidemic and childhood obesity and everything like that. But I think if you want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, like work out with your kids, let them see you, be active with them, obviously doing fun things. I think what me and my wife have really tried to push lately is like, let's get out of the house. Let's go do something active, whether it's just going swimming or going to the park or going on a hike. Like, let's go do something, riding the bikes. And that keeps you active. And at least what from a time saving standpoint as a parent, well, okay, maybe I got my cardio in on the bike ride. And now when I do have some time, I can focus on the XYZ of what I need to be in nitty gritty, my strength training or go to the gym and get my release there, or whatever it is. So time definitely comes to the front of my brain when you were talking there. But I think you brought up a good point too. The picking up, the body mechanics, the postures. My wife has held every one of our kids on the left side because she needs her right hand to function, because she's an all-star mom and she's doing 80 things at once. And when you have a kid on one hip and 2 others screaming at you and you're making lunch, you got to sacrifice your body. Or what does that lead to? Well, she always does, and I tell her to switch, but you know, life happens. And you can't always...
I can't do anything with my left hand, so I'm with you.
Right. Like you can't, hard enough to open a peanut butter jar with one hand, let alone your non-dominant hand.
Yes.
Anyway, but like even just carrying a child, going to walk, you know, you go on a walk. I don't want to walk. Gosh darn it. All right. Pick them up. that's a load on your body. Like,
Yeah.
right. And if she was doing on the same side, I guess for our first two kids, and I didn't notice. And then she started having back pain, and you're going to compensate. Think about if you only did a farmer's care in one side forever, your
Right.
obliques and your QL muscles and your glute med and like everything's going to be uneven. But what does that do? It puts uneven stress onto your spine and your joints and your hips. And that's what causes these repetitive injuries. It's these weird postures or repetitive movements where we're not kind of dispersing these forces evenly through our body or distributing to the right side of the body. So like parents deal with this stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
breastfeeding was a big thing for my wife when she was breastfeeding, neck pain, posture, looking down. That's a big thing for women, I know. And then the bath time is a struggle for low back pain. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I can only
That's
imagine.
lifting your kids out of like, try not to get soaking wet and not hurt your back. Like something's got to give. Like,
Right.
so like, yeah, it's a world of struggles, but it's awesome struggles.
Yeah.
But how can I help you guys? I think what it gets to is like, you just have to learn the little strategies we were just talking about. Like, come in with some of your issues. Let's strategize. Let's talk about it. Like, hey, maybe you don't even realize you're holding your kid on one side. I can help you realize that. Look at these exercises you can do to even you out if you need your right hand and you can't just hold your baby. Like, there's a strategy behind it is basically what I'm getting at. And
Yeah.
I think there's ways around, there's workarounds, but if you can learn how to do it, then it's just a matter of implementing the strategy.
Yeah, for sure. So why do you think it is busy parents ignore the pain until it's unbearable? It's like with you mentioned you're with your wife holding your two first kids on her one side all the time, and then finally realizing it, by kid number 3. And then maybe she didn't do anything to change it, or maybe she did feel the pain, but she, it was easier for her to do it that way. So why do you think that is that busy parents ignore that pain until it becomes unbearable, and then they have to do the next step and they don't have a choice?
I mean, some of it could be the obvious of just like, I'm busy. I'm trying to be a really good parent. All I care about is my kids. And we can do the old thing of like, listen, you got to be a little self-ish to be fully selfless, right? Like, you got to take care of yourself. What do they always say? Your airplane, you got to put your mask on before you put somebody else's on, God forbid, right? So
right.
You got to, as moms, I think, have a really tough time with this because everything's about the kids. You got to give yourself some self-love and some TLC by the way of exercise and fitness so that you can be there at the end of a hard week for your kids the way that I know you want to be and that kind of stuff. So the other thing I was thinking about when you said that there was like, why do they ignore it till it's unbearable? I think it kind of goes back to, we kind of touched on this maybe in the previous episode, like pain at its pure sense is protective and it's there to alert you, but sometimes like the brain is more preoccupied. Like it's not enough pain yet. Right? Like that's the other thing. Like pain, it's not like the first time you experienced pain was the first time you got an injured tissue. Like usually things are repetitive in nature. Like this thing is insidious. It's building over time. Pain was just the first time you were aware of it. So I think the busy schedules of the busy kids just like don't allow us to be aware of it, to be frank. And then, obviously, like we said before, the busy schedule, you don't attack it because you're more concerned about your kids at the time of.
And that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like obviously, I'm busy myself. I don't have kids. So I can only imagine adding that on top of it, of the busy schedule I already
have. Away. You'll make it work.
I'm sure. Every parent does. So for the parent that's like, oh, I would love to spend some time working on this or fixing this, but I don't have the time. Like how do you make time or how do you make physical therapy efficient for people with little time? So the mom, the dad that's coming to you and they're like, look, this is my time. This is my 1 hour. This is like all I get, So when they're coming to you and they're stressing, but they want to be, build the muscle or they want to be able to, pick their kids up or things like that. How do you make that efficient for them? Like what is the movement driven way of helping people do things that fit within their busy schedule?
Yeah, I think the first and foremost is like when somebody comes in to see us, one of the things I ask is like, what's your schedule like? Like, how much time can you commit to what we need to do to get you? Because obviously there needs to be some sort of time commitment. Like regular workout routine is one thing. If you're already injured or you're dealing with something, there's going to need to be a sacrifice of time on your end in the short term to kind of jumpstart this process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think when somebody comes in, the first thing that we do is like, we need to know, like, what's your schedule like? What do you do? What do you do for work? What's your family structure? What's your home life like? Like, and this is just, casual conversation of getting to know somebody, but it helps us rehab you. Because listen, if you can't be here once a week, I get it. Tell me. Because now I'm going to change what I give you from a home exercise program. Maybe I'm going to give you extra. Maybe I'm going to dose it differently. Maybe I'm going to tell you a little bit more in our session today so you understand how to progress these 2 exercises, because I'm not going to see you for 2 weeks. Because, man, maybe it's a budget plan too, right? Maybe we need to space it out from a financial situation because we got kids, baby. Like we're in it.
Right.
You get it. And so that's what we want to completely customize every asset of this for you guys. Like, you come in to see us. We want it, the plan of care and the exercises and the manual therapy should all be customized, but so should the strategy and the logistics behind it too. And so that's kind of goes back to what we talked about. I think it was the first episode we did of this podcast was like the model of physical therapy. Like, who the heck has 2 to 3 times a week?
Right.
Spend an hour with Joe at physical therapy.
Yeah.
I don't. Do you? And I have to drive my kids to their stuff.
Right.
And so it's all the stuff we've been talking about. You gotta make some time for yourself. Your hubby or your wife has to kick in. Unfortunately, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
We got to strategize. We got to make it work for your schedule. And then from an exercise standpoint, hey, okay, you don't have time to do mobility. I think you really need mobility work. I'm giving you these 5 stretches to do or whatever it is. Well, what are you doing from 8 to 9 after the kids go, or 9 to 10 after the kids go down? Oh, I do this. I sit on the couch, blah, blah, blah. I watch some TV. Okay. I get that that's your 1 hour. But for this 4 weeks, can you sit on the floor and just do these 3 stretches for me? Mm-hmm. And it's not, by the way, it's not for me. It's for you.
Right.
It's not straight there. It's for you. This is going to help you and your pain. And so we try to strategize like that, right? Like for this isn't really the busy parents, but it's an example. Like, actually, I did give it to a busy parent the other day because he likes to play video games. I usually do this for the teenage boys with like super tight hamstrings. I'm like, be on your phone in a hamstring stretch position on the floor with your foot up on the wall, rather than being in a hunchback position in your gaming chair. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I try to meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
I try to help them. I get the stressors of the busy parent thing, so I can relate. But I think at the end of the day, if we really want to be real about it, like, it's all excuses, right? Like,
right.
There's always an excuse. We're always too busy for this.
Yeah.
Do you want to feel better? And why? If you have a good reason, let's do it. Let's help you. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Well, I want to go back to something we talked about in episode 1 when we were talking about pain management, and just how there's different, or not pain, when we're talking about chronic pain, and how there's different levels to pain. And it's not just the physical pain, but the mental pain as well as the emotional pain. And I remember there was a testimonial that we did for one of your patients, and we didn't ask permission, so I won't say her name, but one of the things that she mentioned in that testimonial was about how she could not even pick up her kid.
Yeah.
And it was not it was not just physically the pain that she was dealing with, but the fact that like she could not pick up her child. And when she was finally able to do that again, she was very emotional, and even emotional talking about it in the testimonial. So there's definitely that mental and emotional space that comes with that. So when you're talking to someone, whether it's a mom or dad, busy parent, whatever, how do you balance empathy and effectiveness to letting them know that, hey, I'm here, I see you, I'm with you, but also like, this is what we need to do.
I think it's just being real with people. Like,
yeah,
that's what we try to do here is like, I don't want it to feel clinical. I want it to feel like, oh, I'm going to see a buddy and they're going to help me today. Like, we don't have to talk out of here by any means, but like, I want you to feel comfortable.
Right.
I want you to feel like you can talk to us because pain is so complex, and we'll probably have another episode on this, but just to get into it a little bit, like if you compared, like you could look at the MRI of a truck, like a monster truck driver of their, let's say you look at an MRI of their neck, and then you look at an MRI of like a young 26-year-old mom who got in a minor fender bender. Chances are the MRI of the 50-year-old monster truck driver traveling the country, drinking beers with his buddies, blah, blah, blah. His neck probably doesn't look that great on imaging. But that guy's probably not in that much pain because he's traveling the country, he's drinking beers, and he's driving. He's doing whatever a kid dreams of, and driving monster trucks. Like, he has a different perception,
right,
of what's going on. Now we counteract to the mom who's a little bit of pain, but headaches, couldn't work well. Oh wait, now my finances, I'm not getting work. My finances are now, my husband and I are getting arguments because of finances, and now we're stressed. Now I'm stressed. Now stress is a cortisol is released when we stress. Cortisol is a pro-inflammatory. So now if I have something like slight inflammation, now I'm just exciting that response, and now I'm in actual more physical pain. So you mentioned like emotional and mental pain. This is actually having physical ramifications on your body.
Yeah.
When you have these, and it's not like they're easily controllable. Of course they're not. But it kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the previous, of like, pain doesn't equal tissue damage. Your pain could be at a way higher level because of all of these other fears and apprehensions and worries. And when's my pain? Like, for personal experience, I had really bad neck pain when I was just out of PT school, 26. I was freaking the out because I knew enough to know what was going on. And I thought it was more serious than it was. My boss pulled me inside. He's like, Greg, I think he said calm the F down. Like, he said, calm down. Because I was talking about all the time, like, I need to get it right. I need to get this. And it's like, you're going to be fine.
Right.
I promise you there, the next day I was like, I was much better because I was in a mental whirlwind. I was worried. I was anxious, and like, I was in pain for several months. I was not dealing with it well. I wasn't doing what I should have been doing. My PT, it was just treating other people. I wasn't listening to my own advice. And I say all that to say, pain is complex. Pain is scary, but it's not everything. Right. And so, like, to the mom that's worried and has emotions about her pain, I've had several patients where they are on that table and we are talking for most of the session about pain and about how it's influencing. And I have had several patients have full on cry sessions where I am more their psychotherapist than their physical therapist. And at Movement Driven, you're going to get the empathy and sympathy that you would want in a healthcare setting.
For sure.
But with the comfort of being with a friend that's just there to support you, no judgment. Pain is so complex. And I've seen it with my own eyes, people bawl their eyes out just from manual therapy. I can't explain that. I'm not going to try to, but I'm going to be here to like hold a hand through it, help you out through it, and be a friend, and then help you and guide you through the pain science and understand, like, why is your brain working the way in which it is? It's because you've been in pain, and pain sucks.
Yeah.
We're here to get you out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, awesome, Greg. I think this was a great episode as far as encouraging busy parents that not only are they capable of, making not only the sacrifices that they make to give their kids a good life, but also the sacrifice for them, their time for themselves, so that they can continue to give their kids a great life and move forward with that. And small intentional movements and habits can fit into the even busiest life. I mean, even just like while you're watching TV on the couch, like you had said, one patient does versus playing video games. Like, there's different things that the PTs at Movement Driven can do to creatively help you work that into your day to day, whether it's the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, the end of the day. So if you're a parent that's busy, that feels like you have no time in the world, and you're just listening to the podcast to try to help get some perspective, just know that Movement Driven focuses on physical therapy for working parents as well. And if you need to figure out what that is for you, just give us a call, visit our website, and we can help you out there. So thank you, Dr. Greg, for this episode today. I hope that people are leaving and feeling encouraged that their pain is not the only thing that they have to deal with, and they can come to you for them to help them out. So thanks so much.
Sure. Yeah. This one kind of close to the heart. I get it. You know what I mean? I'm in it right now. I could use another, I need my own PT. I need to go see Elsa.
Yeah.
So I totally get it, and yeah, like you said, we're trying to create a really family atmosphere, and we'd love to help you out because we know what you're dealing with. So thank you, Dara. Thank you, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Yep. See ya. Thanks for tuning in to the Movement Driven podcast with Dr. Greg Goldberger. Want to see how we're helping people in Jacksonville bridge the gap between pain and performance? Head on over to movementdriven.com. Until next time, keep moving, stay driven.